All right, guys, so this is how to set up a recording template. For this, I'm using ProTools. You can use any DAW, it does not matter. If you follow this same step formula, you'll have a way more organized workflow, especially every single time you go to record. So without further ado, let's get into it. So all I want you to do is set up this exact same formula here. So I want you to create at the top a beat track. This is where your MP3 is going to go, your wave of the instrumental. If you have stems, we'll get into that later. And then I want you to set up a group and just call it beat aux. So you can just make a group track and have the instrumental going into this beat aux right here. This is where you can add effects. We'll get into what to add, but here I just want you to set up this basic one for the instrumental. The reason I have it going into like a group track or an auxiliary track is, let's say the producer had a couple other stems or you added other ones, that these other parts of the instrumental, if you had multiple multi-tracks for this, they can all get grouped and go into this one auxiliary track right here. So in Logic, this is like grouping tracks. Ableton, same thing. So all I simply want you to do for this is just simply put your instrumental at the top and create this beat auxiliary track or a group track for it. And then guys, for recording, it's actually super simple. I'm only using one record track and then two dump tracks right here, and then we'll set up the rest later. But the reason I like to have one record track is because I see at times a lot of people have multiple different record tracks, and every time they have to stop and then they have to hit record and then they have to stop and they have to go to the other track and then hit record. Honestly, it's a huge headache and it just will slow you down at the end of the day. If you just have one record track and then these two dump tracks, every time that I hit record, this one track stays armed the entire time, and when I'm done recording it, I can just simply move it up to the second track that's open, and then from there I can just listen to it. This one track, and it makes it super easy to be like, oh, did I like that take and did I not like that take? Another huge reason why setting it up like this is super key, that if you ever have to like do a punch in, let's say like, oh, okay, I can't do a whole 8 bars because I'm running out of breath, so I'm only going to do 4. Let's say if you did the first 4 and you're like, oh, okay, I like that. But if the words overlap, you can then hear it back and then just be able to simply punch in when that one stops right there. And if there's a word or two that overlaps, you can just simply drag it to the next one. And that way your workflow can be super seamless when recording the next parts. Another reason doing it like this is just the superior way of doing it is for playlisting. So playlisting is having one track, delete these. Playlisting having one track and then multiple takes of that same section underneath it that you can easily toggle and see what is the best section for that one part. So let's say I recorded this first verse right here and you're like, I like it, but I wonder if I could do a better take. In Pro Tools, all you have to do is if you simply go here and you just select playlist right here, it will come up with these empty ones here. All you have to do is simply drag it down here, and then I can record another take directly over top of it, which is so cool. And then I can bring it back up to here. I could listen, see if I liked it. If I'm like, oh, I think I can do a better take, then I can go down here, I can save it, and it's all within the same track. I see a lot of people have like 30 different tracks because they're putting all their takes on different individual tracks, when it's like, just use one and then playlist it underneath. Every single DAW has a playlisting feature. And then I can record another take if I'm like, oh, the first 2 were cool, but maybe the third one I'll get better. And then from there, I'm like, okay, maybe I like the third one the best. And now I can simply bring it up to the master one here. And then I can simply just move on to the next section, keeping it super organized. And this way you only have one record track, and then you have your 2 dump tracks, and your whole entire recording session can just be these ones for the lead.